Hey guys, it's me. I'm coming on today. I tried to do this last night, but my camera kept conking out, and then I didn't have enough memory, and then things were all topsy-turvy, so I just gave up and was like, it says a lot about the energies. I'm doing an energy talk and energy read for the week. I usually do these on Thursday or Friday, but for some reason I just couldn't get it out yesterday, so I wanted to come on quickly and talk to you guys because for those of you that saw my videos past where I was like, oh, God's putting us through the wine press and he's going to try to squeeze out as much. The general feeling I've been having these last days has been one of somewhat of unsettledness and also like a topsy-turvy, left, right, up, down, don't know where the energy is going. So I don't know if you guys have been feeling that. If you have, put it in the comments. But realistically, like I feel like right now is ramping up, and there's a lot of indecision going on. And for those of you that may have friends or family that are off right now, please implore them, because this is going to be a time of illusion, a lot of illusions. If you haven't been watching any of the news or seeing what's going on, I please ask that you pay attention. Because right now what we're facing is, monstrous earthly cataclysms, between volcanoes to earthquakes in California to tsunamis taking over Japan, soon to be Malaysia, lots of drought and lots of, lots of floods. So personally, I was going through my stuff from last year because I was like, as I was leading up to January 1st, I was going through my channelings from last year, and I came across one that had said the Agarthans were going to, show face by February 2024. And at the rate that these cataclysms are going, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a reality, because obviously if they're within the ground, if their own world, let's say, is very, I guess, somewhat dependent on the tectonic or seismic activity of our outer crust. It wouldn't surprise me with all this if they came and showed face just to further support their own habitat, etc. So that wouldn't surprise me. So the reason why I'm coming on is because a lot of us have been maybe turning a blind eye. I'm not saying my own crew. Hey guys, thank you so much for your support. All the subscribers that came on, I got like 4 more this month, so I'm almost at 40. Some of my videos are hitting past 100 views, and I know that seems like so little to some people, but it's so much to me. We're going through a place where it's just like really nuts, and we got to really take heed and pay attention and help our brothers and sisters that are still a little lost. For those of you that are new to my channel, I'm a big advocate of looking at the truth and looking at what is in front of our faces. So with all the cataclysms going on, especially California, I keep saying watch out for California. I never know my time frames because I'll get like seasons and pictures, but I feel like California's, I'm really hoping not by the spring. Like, that's all I'm saying. But anyways, if you guys have been watching the news, there's been some interesting activity outside of a Miami mall where shadow beings took over the mall, supposedly. They're around the 8 to 15 or maybe 20-foot measure. So if you guys did see that clip, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about with higher selves and how large they are. That gives a good idea of how large they are. Even though they're phased into this plane of existence, they're still very, very tall. But those shadow beings, I can't even say if they were shadow, because if you have a third eye, you can actually see a being in its totality. For those of us that may not understand, sometimes ghosts and apparitions will come in a gray phase just because our physical eyes can't see the spectrum. Whereas a third eye could see the spectrum. So they may have been a totally different set of beings I just couldn't see. And maybe there's people out there with a third eye, and if you do and you saw the video and you saw different things, please advise, because we are dealing with not only aliens from below, aliens from above, lots of help, lots of contacts coming out in 2024, which is fantastic. Some people might be threatened by this, but again, I'm going to implore you to understand that aliens could have taken us over a long, long time ago. So I say we try to be mindful and figure out and decide which ones are here to help us and which ones are not. At least that way we can see where the projection of the earth is going to go. And then secondly, I've been seeing that the 2020 votes have been underway of maybe getting overturned. I'm going to say this to my brothers and sisters in the United States, and I really, really hope you listen to what I'm saying. We do not need a repeat cycle of Trump. We don't. Everything in this time, everything that we do as human beings is so imperative. If there is anything I can say about this time, is that Trump is the definition of a double-edged sword. He is the lesson, okay? He's a big ass lesson. So the thing is that if somebody like him gets in power again, he's going to wreak havoc. Did you remember the shit show shenanigans and craziness he brought the last time? If you want that circus to come back, hey, by all means, vote away. But if you're somebody that was like, wow, like this guy did things that were, no one would ever be able to do. Like he literally, when he first came out of the gate back in 2019, was like, I could shoot somebody on 5th Avenue and get away with it. And you want to know something? I laughed at that back then. But now I know better. There's possibly a chance. This guy has wreaked havoc on your Constitution. This guy has wreaked havoc, and he's got so many pending jail sentences, and yet this man is still allowed to run for president. And somehow he seems to be some type of messiah for some of the supremacists in this country. I am not an American, but I implore my American brothers and sisters, please, for the love of God, realize that this man does not need a round two. Should he come into power, this means that our consciousness has just not risen high enough to understand that there is more that we can aspire for in our government or our form of government. After all of this, us, 144, us light beings, us empaths, star children, whatever the case may be, we're not falling for this anymore. And I really hope you guys aren't too, because this is a time where the whole world is saying to you, this is ridiculous. Okay? Like, I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm sure some of you are 30. Some of the 20-year-olds might be on here, but, like, come on. Like, 20-year-olds aside, because the world you've seen since the hop has been quite nuts. But for those of us that are, a little older, even older, 60, 70, my mom's saying she's never seen stuff like this in her life. So if the older generation is confused, and I'm confused because I've never seen anything, and I'm mid-generation, I'm asking you and begging you guys to realize, like, wake up. It's time for us to wake up and smell the coffee. Wakey, eggs and bakey. Because this time is showing us how ridiculous this system is. The confines of what they want us to believe at this time are ridiculous. So please, I beg you, don't believe it. Don't buy into it. There is so much distraction going on right now between dictatorships, aliens popping off in malls wanting to go shopping in Miami for the fun of it. U.S. Conferences discussing alien bases. Like, I'm okay with aliens, but not when they're coming into our dimension and just kicking it. Like, people were running like King Kong had shown up. And rightfully so. They're large beings, like I said. They're quite large, those in the other dimension. So please understand that this is the time where our soul integrity is going to be challenged. And if you have others around you that are still off, please take them by the hand and talk to them about what we are seeing in our lives. Not only that, China's getting into inflammation with the United States. It looks like the United States and the denominations are turning over as well. So we may be seeing some financial upheaval and overturn. So that's another thing. And what I will say in this time that is so, so imperative is that if you have nothing nice to say, please, if that's the only thing we can do as human beings on this planet right now, is keep your zip shut. Because our thoughts, our projections, our mind, our consciousness is so crucial right now. So let's say, for example, you're so bogged down by all the things going on in the world, right? Meaning you're still off, but you're just complaining. And please note, complaining is totally normal, totally understandable. Most of us are big complainers simply because we feel helpless, hopeless, right? That's usually the consensus. That's usually why we're doing what we're doing. We're like, oh, if I talk about it, if I complain about it, that shows that I have care and empathy for what's going on. And that way I can seem or show to others that I really care. But at the same time, we really know inside of our hearts that we're not really taking any action. We're not out at our government buildings trying to protest. We're just sitting around shooting out a bunch of, let's say if you could see negativity as a color, right? It would be gray or black, just spewing out of your mouth. Now hear me. Imagine another 1,000 people doing that. Another tens of thousands of people doing that. Another 100,000, millions doing that all at the same time. It brings our conscious vibration down. So the most I ask of you in this time is that if you really are confused or you're upset in this time, try to think of positive affirmations versus complaining about things that you can do nothing about physically, okay, mentally. Like you're thousands of miles away. There's nothing that you personally can do. The only thing you can control right now is what you say and what you think. So in this time of chaos and zoology and circus acts and everything else that's coming out that dad is performing right now to wake us up. Everybody says like, oh, you know, God puts us into suffering and this and that. No. Please take that back, because God doesn't put us into anything. We put ourselves into this. Okay? And we can get ourselves out. So if there's anything I can implore to you guys, please think about what you're thinking about. Use this time right now, even though it is a very chaotic time, get it to the heart. Think about your intent. Think about what you're thinking and think about what you're saying. The most you can do is probably hope for the best of this planet, because that's what you're going to be projected in this time. It's all about projection. If you think the world's going to go a certain way, that's the way it's going to go for you. Not to say, because I feel like this split, this divide, is going to show people different filters. We're all going to be on a planet seeing different things. And I said this before, we see it every day. I'm on the subway with people that are still wearing masks. The world they see is one that is still, fueled by the fear of COVID. And then you see another percentage that are not doing that. And then you've got the ones that are on. So we're all on the same globe, but we're seeing different things. So please understand that perception is also very important, because it's like that's the world you're seeing. That's the world you're projecting to yourself. And the thing is too, what people don't realize is that avatars, God, Jesus, whoever you interact with, they will show you a projection of what you believe they look like. Okay, so if you're somebody who grew up thinking that Jesus was black, if you meet Jesus, Jesus will be black. If you think Jesus is some blonde, blue-eyed guy, and your thoughts have always been about a blonde, blue, that's who you're going to meet. So understand that our thought processes and our projection of our ideas is so important. Okay, just in general. So if you have nothing nice to say, just zip that lip and be at peace with yourself. So with that said, I was going to do some energy cards, because I was like, okay, let's see where the energy is going this week, because I think it's pretty important. I'm supposed to do this yesterday, but I was like, I have not been sleeping. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, a lot of cards came out. This energy has been topsy-turvy. I've been spending a lot of my time doing grounding rituals. First card, Archangel Gabriel, throat chakra. Looks like the throat chakra. I guess that means we got to have a voice. And if our voice is not, okay, contract. So voicing ourselves out there for a contract. It could be a lot of contract changes, I would say, at this time. Because realistically, like, things are changing. Journey. Okay, so fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel is the beckoner of messages, I believe. Yes, so I would say that in this time, our messages and those that we put forth into the world are very imperative, and we must be very wise as to how we're using our throat chakras right now to voice out our opinions. So I think that ties into that. And contract also, if you see this card, right, it's also the Libra symbols. So maybe there's some type of form of justice that we're looking for in this world right now, because I truly feel like we're trying to voice ourselves so rationally out there in the world, but at the same time, we're getting met with a lot of injustice, or at least what we perceive to be injustice, or we're crying in our hearts for justice. And the thing is, too, we're also all on this journey. We're going through this journey not having much understanding. We have our eyes closed and we're following spirit at this time. So it doesn't it doesn't surprise me that the next one is the door to spirit. Because the thing is, and if you notice this too, see, she's blind. Okay, and that's how I truly feel. I feel like the angels are with us, but primarily in this time of Gabriel would be like sounding the horns, you know, preparing the message. And usually when Gabriel sounds the horns, that means that something's coming. So I would say right now that if you are hearing the trumpets of the horns blowing, you know, between aliens and bad politicians and financial decreases and cataclysmic things happening in the world, our best thing is to close our eyes, understand where we are, what's going on, ground ourselves, find that balance. Okay, that's another way of looking at this too, because like I said, if we're in our heart, that's going to help us balance things out. So that's why I felt like love, we've got to focus on this love thing. So we moved out of that and we're focusing on balancing, maybe not seeing things as clearly as we would want them. We're hearing the horn, but we're not seeing the horn. We are seeing some crazy things, but we're not seeing the path that's laid out. We're still on this journey, and we may be doing it blindly right now. You get what I'm saying? For most of the part, we've been doing it blind. And maybe what we're looking for in this time is a door to spirit. So like basically, like I was saying, if you look at this beautiful card, there's like an opening and it's just like a flow of prosperity that comes out of it. So in this time, maybe we've got to really hone into what our capabilities are. And in this time, contracts may be changing because, like I said, a cycle's over. And sometimes when cycles are over, sometimes karmic cycles are over. You open up a door, or a spirited door to another journey, to another path. So that might be what's going on. It wouldn't surprise me because right now it's pretty nutsos. But I just wanted to come on and say that because I've just been watching so many topsy-turvy things, and I'm like, what can I say to anyone right now? I can honestly say that we need to hone into our abilities as best as we can. I kind of feel like mom, or like Mama Bird is holding us under her wings right now, and she's basically putting all her little chickadees on different branches, and she's about to push us all off of the branches, and she's going to try to see if we can fly. And I feel like that's what's going to happen in this next era of time, because us chosens, light workers, star seeds, etc., it's like we're being ramped up and prepped up. I literally have been feeling like I have a backpack on for like days now, since January 1st showed up. And outfitted with a backpack and some freaking head helmet, but that's my problem, not yours. But I feel like it's imperative that we realize that the time's ramping, and we got to make sure that our hearts are pure. We hear Gabriel's horns, and we do our best to stop talking negativity, start brimming positivity, because that's all we can do right now. Let's be the change we want to see. Let's not bring a dampening feel to the rest of this blanket of loveliness that I call our existence here in this planet. So I love you lots, guys. If you do like what I'm saying, please like, please share, please subscribe. This is just going to be a vlog, a wacky Wednesday, even though it's Saturday. But I just had to come on because when I seen those shadow beings come out in Miami, I was like, oh my God, we got 10D shadow beings from I don't know if they're shadow beings, but between all that and Trump and just like all the different turnovers, I just want to come on and say I love you guys all. We're all going to get through this one way or another. We got to. So it's one of those things, you know, sink or swim. Bye, guys. Love you.